Whoa, hello, hello, welcome back. Friday. Yesterday was International Father's Day. I was like, International Father's Day. Quite interesting, don't you think so, Venus? I hope
As we
I hope
don't
you bought.
recognize that international, Nini.
Oh, you didn't celebrate it. You don't celebrate it.
Well, I'm always celebrating my husband every other day. So
Mhm.
for me, it's really nothing new. Yes, but
All
I
right.
took note.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for tuning in once again on Being 40 Show, where you're seated. We are coming to you live this beautiful Friday. Wow. I cannot really emphasize. We came up and we got this new platform. We're really enjoying it. It's just bringing it live. Venus is in, I don't know if she decides to fly to where or come back, or I don't know, I'm where. We're still gonna roll. Now,
Mm.
Venus, come on,
Yes.
welcome to Being 40 streaming live. How do you feel about that?
Thank you. I am so motivated. I've been out of the country and very
Hmm.
glad to be back. Of course, no one
Hmm.
wants to be traveling during this time, but duty calls. So I was away for about 5 days. But I really did notice that there's something you posted on Facebook about being in one of the panelists I think for Rusinga, one of the schools. Yeah, I think it's Rusinga. And I was
Correct.
like, wow, wow. Anyway, being 40, I won't get hapo if you are 20 years. Let me just assure you. The reason why you're seated seated there, other than, having it all together, is the fact that you're mature enough to, be able to give solid advice to children who are looking up to you. So I guess that must have been your highlight for this week.
You're right. And definitely, when I got the requests from Rusinga, my boys go to school there. And, they requested, Frank, we are having e-commerce week, entrepreneurship week. And we have all these kids who are just year 10, year 11, and they're looking at becoming business people, but mainly on the digital platform or an online platform. And I said, why not? I'm happy to come in. And I tell you, I was very much humbled when the request came through. And also just being in a panelist with some very, very, very smart and people who've been in the entrepreneur space and technopreneur space for some time. So yesterday was an amazing day for me. And it was very early in the morning. Totally amazing.
Wow. I'm so sad that I didn't attend. I wasn't able to make it, but wow, Rusinga. Sisi watoto wetu wanaenda shule za City Council. Yes.
Really?
Um, so we would also like to learn this group of schools, Manenos. How do people operate there? And of
No.
course, looking up to one day where our kids will be joining such prestigious schools. Not that I'm not grateful for where I am at, but of course, there's really motivation to see that, such schools exist. And yes, that
Uh,
for me, I'm always saying that the sky is just the stepping stone. So having also gone through those city council schools, which I really love because they made me who I am, strong as I am. And, I really want to thank all my teachers out there who might be listening to me today. Yeah. But I'm very interested to know, how did the convo go? Because this must have been very interesting, just talking to teens. I believe they're teenagers who are looking up, who have already set their mindset into the career they want to settle in. In our days, Frank, you remember very well, we didn't know what we wanted out of life. It was more of what our parents wanted for us. And I remember my dad would, tell me, you have to become this, you have to become this. Yet I really felt that I needed to be someone else. So I don't know how it was. Maybe you can just, tell us a little bit of what went on. What did you guys discuss? Because I missed, you know?
All right, Venus. Again, let me just take a few steps back and say, you and I went to, city council schools, Nairobi River Primary School in Outer Ring. Yeah, so hapo hatuwezi kusahau. But actually, what happened also, just to put a disclaimer, is giving thanks to God for everything, right? God first, everything. And actually, the boys, they went to city council up to class 8, and
Mm-hmm.
then The first one, then the decision now to move him to Risinga came later, because just the systems are different. But if now you come to the event yesterday, my friend, let me tell you, um, just being able to talk to the young upcoming technopreneurs, and at being 40, it's also a message you can be passing on to some of our colleagues, some of our friends, and at 40 and young youngsters. What is happening with most of the kids now is they're spending a lot of time on their phones, right? And most of the
True.
time we really don't know what they're doing on their phones. But one of the conversations you're trying to tell them is, if your passion or if your line of career is in business, as in digital online things around technology, then it's the best time to do it. Look at the new normal. Everything has all of a sudden changed. Now, one of the things that I emphasized and I said was, when a chameleon changes its color, it does not, chameleon always changes its color, it does not change the environment. So basically what that means, even during the times for COVID, we are not changing the environment we are operating in, but you just need to change certain ways by which you're operating in. And for you, if you want to become an entrepreneur or a technopreneur, there's something called passion. You must be passionate about what you want, because entrepreneurship and technopreneurship, which is more online, digital. I'll give you an example of technopreneurship. Think of taxis. Long time ago, we used to walk and take a taxi, and then we are gone. But now technopreneurship is something like Uber. Traditional taxi now has become digital taxi, and that is what we call an Uber, right? And all of a sudden, we can see all this hype around technology. So one of the things we talked to the boys about was, there's need for them to have passion. They need to identify what they want to do. They need to go to the TikTok platforms, which they enjoy, in the Instagram. They can start doing some more creatives in there, and posting and just having fun with that. And that's how it starts. And you build on that and build of that. Because let me tell you, Venus, today's children, immediately they unplug from the umbilical cord, they connect with the internet. And that's how life is.
There's something that you have said that I really, maybe has really caught my attention, Frank, and I beg to differ with you.
Okay.
And this comes to the issue of TikTok. TikTok, Instagram for teenagers, personally, I feel it's more of a derailer. I know a
Okay.
lot of teens will tell you, I want to keep up with the times, I want to know what is happening. But then again, if you look at what happens in those, pages or applications, I tend to think that I wouldn't let my children, my teenagers, get into this, because you see, there's a way a child's brain is conditioned, and we all know that brains are expandable. Okay, and that's why when a child is born, they're very quick to learn, as opposed to us who are now in our 40s, because that neuroplasticity has sort of like shrunk. Yeah, but when you give a child a platform, well, it can work both ways. And that's why I said, I really do understand where you're coming from, but at this point in time, I wouldn't be comfortable with my daughter, being on Facebook, being on Instagram, being on TikTok. I feel right now, even if she has her laptop, even if she has her phone, she needs to learn to invest in what matters right now, and that is her research when it comes to schoolwork and all that. TikTok will not die. There's gonna be new apps, and there's gonna be time where they'll need now to create applications, if there are people who want to take that line, but they will need now to go back and research. I'm thinking of my daughter who is in Form 1, and she has 4 years. She can still go back and read books and do her research, when the time is right, when she has the time. I don't know. I personally, I am just not comfortable with my children indulging. Oh
And
my God!
again,
Because let me tell you, there's some apps that you can't really put PG. Okay. So at the end of the day, you find that yes, your child is there, is in that platform, they're doing research, but what the original intention ends up being the downfall of that child. Why? Because they've been pre-exposed to things that they should not be learning at this age. Are you
No,
getting
Venus,
me?
I'm seeing your
Am I just being a
no, I'm
mother?
seeing you're getting no, you're getting into the counseling, you're getting into the counseling modes, and you're just being the typical mom, which is fine. And again, this is where we put the disclaimer of my right is not the only right, your right is not the only right, right? This time we tell it to ourselves. Why do I say that? I mean, Venus, let me tell you, internet came up in the 90s. And what has happened is, if you remember, we had Ericsson 1018. It was like a weapon. You know, if you think of the old phones and to where we are today now, let me tell you, the only thing you can do is technology is moving very fast. You have kids who, as they grow up, they have different ambitions. One wants to be a lawyer, one wants to be a pilot, one wants to be something else. What the child is going to do is pretty much, if you want them to focus on a research or you want them to do something else, they're going to do a degree and give you the degree, and then they move on to be whatever it is they feel like doing. If your child has identified that digital and technopreneurship is what they want to do, they want to do programming, they want to do web design, they want to do development, they want to do applications, you name it. It is the only thing that they think of doing. Let the child start early. Why do I say that? And sometimes maybe this is where maybe we drop the ball. Look at the footballers. Somebody starts playing football at the age of 5. Somebody starts developing at the age of 11. The important thing is, how do we guide them into that narrative? The session I was having yesterday was more an informative session, coming from the point of, we are captains of industries, or like we were called. We are sharing with the young ones who are coming up that, guys, listen, when we grew up, we never had all this privilege. We never have all this access to internet or anything else. It was very limited. Airtime was 1,000 shillings when you had to buy Safaricom airtime and scratch. Now you can even get for 10 shillings. They're nothing like data bundles. With times changing, lifestyles are changing, the way people are behaving is changing. If we don't adapt to the ways, and you wait for the ways to adapt through to your child by being strict, trust you me, they'll start hiding things for you. So the digital platform is here. And let me tell you, guys are working from home. Kids are going to school online, a majority of kids. They either do online classes from their rooms, or maybe they go to a certain place. They are on the network itself. Literally, COVID has exposed our children, even the ones who did not know how to use computers. They're literally exposed. And what do they do now? They're learning things. The important thing is what? Work with them. The ones who want to learn digital, be technopreneurs, work with them. That's the only thing I can tell you. Don't limit and say, you can't do this. No, 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 no.
Imagine, Frank, I still don't agree. Well, there's one thing that you have said that maybe I can say yes to. It's different when a child is, in the creative industry, because then when it comes to sports, art, and all that, I would want to, because of the kind of career they're taking, they need their muscles toned early in advance. Even the brain, there's a way it is, but anything to do with applications, mimi pa hapo, let me tell you, hautanipata, because coming now, moving away from being a mother, and now coming into now the issues of mental health, a lot of the children nowadays, and those who are especially on these platforms, have bought this notion that the likes is what verifies you. For us who are in our 40s, we know that even if you post anything today and it gets maybe one or two, you're okay with it because the message has been delivered. But unfortunately, for these young ones, right now they're in this stage where they're trying to get what we call self-identity. And in the same stage, there's a lot of peer pressure. So when you talk about allowing them to get into this, where there's TikTok, what if my child maybe does a video on TikTok and there are no views or there are no likes, they will tend to feel like they are hated by the world. And these are the things that are causing depression. So unless you tell
But how
me
did your child get
there's
to
an
TikTok in the
app
first
that
place?
has, sorry,
How did your child
come
get into
again.
TikTok in the first place? How did your child get into
How
TikTok in
did?
the first place? You got him. How did your child get into TikTok in the first place? You got him a smartphone to be able to use in, you know, now you get me a smartphone and then it has all these applications. Then you're trying to tell me I cannot access. Then get me a feature phone that doesn't have all these features. Then I just use my phone to call. Why get them smartphones? And that's why the likes of
Frank, that is an
what's its
excuse.
guy? No, I'm just saying.
It
It's
all
it's
boils down to
if we look at
discipline.
it,
It all boils down to
but where does
discipline
it
and
start?
parenting.
Where
It
does it
starts
exactly?
with the fact that there are gadgets that they can't do without. Right now, my daughter needs to have a laptop. It's a school requirement. She needs to have
It
her
is.
phone because if the laptop is not working, she has to use her phone, maybe to attend a Zoom meeting or something
Correct.
of that sort. But remember, Frank, your child is a reflection of how the values that you have instilled in them. And one of them being very
I
critical is
agree.
the discipline.
I
I
agree.
believe handling teenagers of today requires a lot of reasoning with them. Why? They love to ask, they love to understand why you would deny them going out to hang with their friends or using TikTok. So for me, that is a discussion that I've had with my children. Have they tried? Have they attempted to be on Instagram? Yes, they have attempted. I didn't even know, but you know, when I found out, especially for the younger ones, I realized it's because I had not emphasized, I've not explained why they cannot be on those forums, and why did they do it? There was peer pressure. You know, it was information being passed on from their friends that, hey, you know me, I'm on Instagram, and they wanted that identity. But then I went, you know, I had to come out and talk to them and make them understand why they do not need this at this age. So we had to work on the discipline part of it. And let me tell you, Frank, and without mentioning names or even giving statistics, I have seen teenagers in therapy, and every teenager who has come there suffering from depression or other issues, they have mentioned the issue of not being liked. Okay, I posted this, people didn't respond. So I know for a fact, and without even now putting away what I feel, coming into now the real issue, I have seen people who today cannot cope or who have altered their personality because they weren't affirmed. They didn't feel like they were loved when they expected to be loved. But remember our convo for
I
last
agree.
week. I I always say, you know, social media, you know, it's best looked at, you know, as relating with robots. But unfortunately, for our children, that would not really, it's not something that would hold water for them. They know this is
Vina,
Frank Mola I'm talking to, and he read my message and he did not respond even on WhatsApp. We remember we
he
talked
blue
about
ticks
silent
me,
treatment and
which is fine.
bluetoothing.
No, it's
Yes.
true.
So
But
back to
Venus,
the
where
original.
does it start?
uh
No, no, no. No, 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 no. Sorry. I mean, Venus, there's a point you raised, and you said it very, very. Umesema vizuri sana. You have said some of these people, when they come for counseling, there's one thing they feel like they're not liked. So, is it something to do with parenting? Is it something that is being transferred from a childhood
Not
where,
really.
no, 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 Subiri, where Venus felt neglected, Venus never felt loved, and then you come here, you're bought for a phone, you go online, and all of a sudden, there's all this validation, confirmations. If it is missing on one side, ideally, you come and get a platform where there's all this happening. Then you say, like, oh, okay, there's what we call peer pressure, which sometimes also gets into people and gets into the teenagers. And admit there's so much now more than ever. But the narrative here should be, you have a phone. Guys, listen, where you are now, I'll put you where you are. Where you want to go becomes your choice. You're a teenager, right? You're going into the internet. You're going into social media. You want to be a technopreneur. You want to be an online person. Whatever business or whatever career you want to look out for. I'm giving you some tools to help you navigate through your life as a teenager. It's more talking to them. It's more telling them, oh, there's TikTok. This is what TikTok is all about. But does this align to what you want to be? Does this align to this? It's them knowing it is there, appreciating what it is, and knowing like, wait a minute, the way I was brought up, this is not me. But you want to come and give your child a smartphone. You are an absent dad. You are an absent mother. You want to compensate you not being present with all these goods the way we know we do, as we, yesterday we were just talking about International Men's Day. When this gap starts coming in, and then we come and put the pressure on the children and say, huyu mtoto atasijui shida yake ni nini. I don't know. I've tried talking to this child na hasikii. The problem did not start there. The problem started with an absent father who has never been there. The problem started with a present mother who kept on reminding of the child of your father who is not supporting and not doing all these things and very bitter. And the child is torn. Or even in a family where you have both parents, but still, it's like they're not together. So this thing does not start at the point of which they are teenagers, which simu and you start controlling it. No. Inaanza mapema. By the time inafika hapa kama ulimisuku chini, my friends, it's already gone. The conversation maybe is easier with your maybe your daughter, because there are certain values that are instilled. So when she comes and you look at it and it's more, my daughter, this is not right. This is not how we are supposed to do this and everything else. She'll understand because there were values that were planted. How could plant values? Absent father at 40. Na unataka kupelekea mtoto smartphone. Na unataka mtoto, my friend, those issues will be there. You can't control
sasa
it.
Frank, unajua sasa you have moved from you are the one who started this topic, and I feel that okay, let me first correct you. A child who has been rejected at a younger stage is very antisocial, and the ones who want to deal with that, I ironically can also become hyper. But children who are rejected at a very early age wanakuanga si watu utawapata in social media, hata wakipost unaweza ona tu baby ni kitu moja moja and they really don't care. But still, let me now say, I picked up from what you said at the beginning. I feel that yes, even if your child wants to become a technopreneur, there are better ways of, other than now using these social media platforms as, research tools, because of course they are curious, as I said, in this stage and in this age they are in, they want to also feel like they belong to the larger group of social media. So I feel that maybe, they should look at things like website, vitu zingine zenye, zenye zitawasaidia. But when you tell me about ati sijui aende TikTok, Apple, Frank, we can go on with this convo. Now, I mean, you will win, of course, eventually, because I have to let you win, but deep down,
No.
win. But anyway, let us.
Look, Venus.
Frank.
One of the speakers yesterday said that think of, and again, this might not be one of the best maybe examples, but I'll just say it. A Kim Kardashian or whatever it is goes to TikTok, just walks and makes money. That's it. Right? And most of our children, if you look at even the mentors and the people they're looking at up to, are not even local people. Very few of them even sit back and say, when I grow up, I want to be like my dad. Why? He was not there. Very few of them sit back and go like, when I grow up, I want to get my mom a house. Why? because the mom raised them by themselves. Of course, we appreciate there are also some fathers who are doing their role, yes. But when a child comes up and says, I want to be a technopreneur, how do I guide that child into getting into that phase? He's already in the digital space. COVID has already made us have kids have a laptop. The ones who've never touched laptops were touching laptops for the first time. A child who's 4 years old is already online, trying to play around with the gadgets. The advice we were sharing with the kids yesterday.
I've lost
Once you
you. I can't
identify
hear
this
you.
is what you want.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. The advice was very simple. You want to be a technopreneur or an entrepreneur? Listen, guys, let me tell you. There is TikTok, there is Facebook, there is Instagram, there is all that. It's like an entrepreneur is somebody who gets on a plane, you fly high, you have a parachute on, you're thrown off the plane, you don't know if the parachute is going to function or not, you don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'd lost you, but now I can hear you.
Okay, sorry for that. An entrepreneur is somebody who jumps off a plane with a parachute and they're not sure if it's functional. And their goal is one, they need to land safe. It's a field where you don't know where you're getting into now. What you need to do is a lot of preparation, a lot of focus, what we call passion. And passion is something that even when you're not making money, you sit back and say, I'm passionate about this thing. I'm still going to navigate. And of course, we keep on telling them. And one of the things that came out from all the speakers was God has to be present. You have to pray to God every other time. Now, when you inculcate all this and you keep on telling the kids, guys, social media is here. You want to be you want to be technopreneurs. Remember, each and every website you touch, there's an implication to it. Remember, if you go to TikTok and your motive is this, you're going to pay for that and something is going to. So these conversations need to keep on happening. We need to remind them. But we cannot discourage a child who wants to be a digital or a tech savvy to stop playing around with gadgets and to understand and limit them. When a child is born Venus, they don't know no. They don't know the word I can't. We are the ones who feed them. Naona mtoto saa zingine kila saa mtoto unasikia, "We wacha, don't do that. Don't do that." There's less of, "Oh, do that. Do that." You can't do that. There's less of, "You can do that." We have to let them go out there and try it out, but give them advice at the same time.
Hapo I agree with you. Kwanza pale umemention to God, my heart softened. Yes, and I get
Okay,
where you're coming from. You know, Mimi, when it comes to issues of God, yani niko hapo. Yani yeye ndio ule mtu ametujenga. Let me just say that. And I know time is not on our side, Frank. Leo ni Friday. You need to go and have dinner with your children. I know you're a family person and you really, cherish those family times. So for the viewers who are watching out, and listening to us, let us know, what is your view about this topic? Do you feel that what we discuss really holds water? I mean, Frank is from the school of thought whereby he thinks that you should start, if your child wants to become a technopreneur, they need to be exposed right now, and they need to know how these apps operate. And me, being Venus, and being that mother and all that, I really feel like no, there's time and season for everything, and I feel the right season is when a child has fully matured up in terms of their psychological aspects, their mindset, and they're able to handle any pressure that may come from these apps. So let us engage on this page. Let us know if also you're out there and you really want to hear us talk about a certain topic. Please feel free, inbox us, or even just post on this, on our wall. Let us know what you want us to talk about. But we have very interesting things coming up. In fact, the reason why we are using this platform, and I thank God for these applications, Frank, is we can be able to have meetings from the comfort of our homes. It's been pretty busy for both Frank and I in the past 1 or 2 months. I have not been around most of the time, and he has also, he got a new position, but that is a story for another day. he will tell you about it. I don't want to really, you know, burst his bubble. Yeah, but it's been pretty busy, and we love this, you know, platform that we have had because our fans have been asking, hey, hatujaona mkitokelezea Friday, what is happening? Mmekosana ama nini, ama producer ame disappear.
And you
So
see,
we
this
are
is
that is just that that what
no, I'm saying this is part
the
of
time. Okay,
what we are doing
yes.
now.
So now this is
Is
where, Frank, you get
technopreneurship.
to do. Sorry,
No, I'm saying the
come
reason we have
again.
this app now is because of a techno. The reason we have this app is because of a technopreneur came up with it, and that's why we're enjoying it.
And I'm sure that technopreneur was in their mid-20s or early 30s. But that is a story for another day. So, Frank, I told you you'll not win this convo. This is where you get to tell us about brutal facts. So let me leave you up to it.
Correct. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for being with us. You know, I had a very interesting session yesterday with young upcoming technopreneurs, and these are basically young upcoming kids who are saying, I want to go the digital way, I want to go the e-commerce way. But as a parent out there, maybe my recommendation and the brutal fact is, when your child comes to you and they want to go the digital way, please walk with them, guide them, expose them to people who have already been doing this. I always say that don't seek advice for somebody who's never left home. So look at like-minded people who've done it, who've been there before, and let your kids start associating with these people. Let them have mentors from a very tender age for them to understand. Start exposing your child at a very tender age so that they appreciate between what is wrong and what is right. If you're absent, and this is to my brothers out there, you know, we cannot be absent fathers. And then at the same time, when we are present, only what we do is we give our children presents. We give them all these gadgets. It really makes it hard and difficult for whoever is with a child, regardless the other side. So for mothers out there, fathers out there, families out there, remember, just expose your child to these gadgets. Even though if you don't do it, COVID is making us doing it. It's the new normal. And that's why I say a chameleon changes its color. It doesn't change its environment. All right. You have to see how to fit into that environment. But also remember, every other day, talk to your child, expose your child, give them the confidence, tell them, yes, they can. They can do it. Please remind them about all the time. Talk to them about passion. Talk to them about hard work. Talk to them about sacrifice. Talk to them about grit. It is possible, guys. It is possible. But we must have those conversations. But as I close off and I go back to being 40 for Venus to talk to us about Mind Spa, remember, even as you work from home as a youngster, I'm talking to you right now. The warmer the blanket, the colder your future becomes. Going back to being 40, thank you very much.
Wow, I love your closing phrase, Frank. Very powerful, profound. So, guys, this is Being 40, and this is the Mind Spa moment where we talk about psychological facts. And I just want to pick from the convo that we have had with Frank, where he comes from a space where he feels that you should expose your children, especially those who want to be technopreneurs in the future. But for me, I come from a very different school of thought, and I want to bring in the psychological aspect of everything that we do as parents. Now, one of the greatest addictions that we have in our day to day, and age and time, is what we call phone addiction, otherwise known as, I have forgotten, nomophobia. Nomophobia is the addiction of gadgets. And one thing that gadgets target in the brain is the dopamine, which is the reward hormone. So when you find, this is the same hormone that drugs actually target, coming from that thought. I would advocate that even if you're to expose your child to these gadgets because they want to take a certain career path, you need to know when to do it and also weigh the timings. Okay. Overexposing your child in the name of making them kind of like get into their career path might also have adverse effects. All right. I feel what our teenagers need at this time is being exposed to the mood hormone and the love hormone, the connection hormone, and that is serotonin and endorphins. Okay, so that is up to you. As we always say, we have been raised differently as parents, and we also want to raise our children very, very differently. But even as we do so, let us also be very, very sensitive about the human growth and development curve. That is where we talk about identity in a child, peer pressure, the issue of self-differentiation. Sorry, I'm a cow. The blah has to come out. Yes, but we need to be very, very sensitive to these things, because I don't believe that all these theories that have been merged to form this one thing are wrong. Your child is looking for an identity. If you give him the platform, he might end up overusing it. So at the end of the day, what really matters is how you do it. And also, please mind the exposure time, because that is where the addiction comes from. I hope I do make sense. Of course, I am not trying to say that Frank is wrong. He is very, very right in his own way, in his own, in every capacity. But I also have to bring in the mindset, because this is what will affect your child in the future. So once again, this is the Minds Per Moment, and this is Being 40. Back to you, Frank.
Wow, thank you
And
very
I
much.
see time is not on
Thank
your
you very
side.
much, Venus. Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, the story was juicy and everything, exciting listening to you talking about the mind spur. It's always mind-boggling, and listening from the counseling part of it, very exciting. So once again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. It's Friday, and like you said, I need to rush to, kula nini nini. So thank you very much, and we're gonna catch up next week on Friday. Venus.
Yes.
Cheers.
Asante sana, Frank. And I'm really, really looking forward to having the real shoot like what we've been doing before. And of course, as I said in the beginning, we have amazing stuff coming up. You guys are going to love this. But in the meantime, if you're watching us for the first time, please like our page, share it to your friends, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future episodes. And for those of you who have questions and comments, please feel free to drop them. Let us learn from you as well. Let's hear your thoughts, because we all come from different schools of thoughts. Let us see, what makes sense in this day and age. And as we said, Frank lazima aende akae na watoto. As we said, yeye ni ule baba mzuri, present father, anakula na watoto. It's Friday, he wants to make that evening count. So unfortunately, we have to, end this session for today. Frank, I wish you a very, very, good time with your family. Mimi, niko hapa, just back to studies, but definitely we should catch up soon. So enjoy your week, Frank. And guys, enjoy your week. As our fans, we just have to say that we love you so much. Thank you so much for all of you. I have to mention one. Hey, Benson Omanga, who is always watching from Qatar.
No.
Yes.
Weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Why are you taking guys to weekend? Please.
Aki was there. My God, being 40, memory loss. But to all those guys who are out there, yani our fans, we'll be mentioning you in our next episode. I have to write down your names. There are guys who are always there on time to watch us. So please, we want to say we appreciate you. We love you so much. Let's keep this going. Share this out to any of your friends who are in their 40s. Please, let us have this content coming through. So asante sana. I know Frank is smiling, but at the back of his head is like, Venus, can you finish? We are done. And back to our producer. See you next time.
Bye.